Welcome and thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. If this is your first time participating in a Cancer Support Community Atlanta program, we invite you to visit our website, cscatlanta.org, and complete a new attendee form to stay connected to all future programs.
Hi everyone, this is Emily Brown, the Program Director at Cancer Support Community. All right, Ashley, I think we are ready to go ahead and get started.
All right. Hey everybody. This feels so weird. I'm at Cancer Support. If you didn't know, I'm not in my home kitchen. And it feels really weird to be here without you guys, but I'm glad you're able to watch from home. I am doing sauces today. So this is a summer sauce cooking class, and all these recipes are inspired by things of summer. So think hot weather, what's growing in the garden right now, what's readily available. The first recipe I'm going to demonstrate is the lemon basil sauce. And this sauce it's like a version of pesto without the nuts and cheese. So it's super simple. It uses basil, which if you're growing basil right now, you'll have probably a lot of it. This was basil that I bought from the store. This is not from my home garden. This came from the grocery store. They're selling it now in the actual soil. So if you can find that, it actually gives it a lot better flavor, and it keeps its shelf life a little longer. If you buy basil in the packet, it tends to wilt really quickly, and it doesn't stay fresh as long. So anyways, this is just a pot of basil from the store. I've started taking off the stems, just sort of snipping them off with my hands. I'm going to make sure I wash these really good because they are growing in dirt. We don't want to eat any of that dirt, but I'm just kind of taking the whole plant. And you can try to replant this if you want to, but don't have super high hopes for it because this was grown for a grocery store. This was not necessarily grown for a home garden, but you can always try it and see if it'll resprout and grow some more for you. But I'm washing it in a salad spinner. That way when I rinse it in the water, I can get all of the water off and it won't get slimy. If you cut herbs that are still wet, they get kind of slimy and grassy. So anyways, I've got all my herbs in there in this container. This is the strainer part of the salad spinner. I'm going to take this over to the sink. I don't know if you'll see me very well back here, but I'm washing here in the sink, just cold water. Just give it a rinse. Get it back in the bowl, and then we're going to use the top to spin it around. You'd be amazed how much water comes off of it. Give it some few pumps. Stop it, and then it should be ready to go. Okay, so set this aside. And then as I take off my basil leaves, I'm going to put them into the food processor. So just try to quickly do this. We're using about 1 cup, but I'm not going to measure it. You guys don't have to get crazy with the measurements on this. You can definitely just eyeball it. But I feel like pesto is such an obvious summer sauce. This is a different version. Like I said, it does not use nuts or cheese. So I know a lot of the participants in the past have been trying to avoid dairy. So this is like an easy way to still get that nice summer basil flavor without the cheese. So I'm serving this today with some grilled chicken. And I'm going to try something new. We've had this grill pan in the classroom for a really long time and we've never used it. So today I'm going to use it for the first time. And this is like an easy way to grill from inside. You may not want to get the grill out when it's 90 degrees, even if you're in the shade. So this is like a nice way to get that nice summertime grilling flavor without going outside. So I'll start that in just a second. Going through. I don't have my helper today. I don't have Jody here to I wish I had Jody here to get all my stuff, or Isla. So the only other ingredients in this are olive oil, lemon, and salt. Super easy. That is my easy as possible. And then once you've made this recipe a few times, you don't need a recipe anymore. You can just do it from memory. Okay. Oh yeah, she needs to come here and help me grill the chicken. All right, I'm just gonna wipe this out because it's still a little bit wet. I had to wash it in the sink. But this is, if you're wondering about this pan, I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it. Okay. Put that out of. Okay, so this is just a cast iron grill pan. It's for indoor use. It is enameled cast iron, so you don't have to worry about specially washing it when it's finished because it has a special, like a protective coating on it. But it's really, the nice thing about it is that it holds the heat. And for grilling, you need a really high heat. Okay, so we're gonna go with a medium high here. We don't want to get too crazy. But I'm gonna preheat the pan while I get the chicken ready. So I'm sad you guys can't taste these sauces, but in that, knowing that nobody was gonna be, only a few people would be able to taste it, I was able to get one chicken breast for demo purposes. Obviously at home you'll be cooking more than one chicken breast, but this is chicken breast from the store. Just boneless, skinless. You could do this with thighs. You could even do this with a whole chicken if you want to roast the chicken in the oven. This is just one example. Okay, so I have one chicken breast in here. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I am going to use, I'm not going to use olive oil for this since we're getting our pan to a pretty high heat. I'm going to use oil that's appropriate for high heat. That's for today. I'm using grapeseed oil. So I'm just going to drizzle it with oil. I'm going to use this brush here to kind of spread it out just to evenly coat it. Notice I'm doing this right in the paper so that I don't have any extra dishes. Sprinkle it with salt. You could marinate this ahead of time if you want to. I'm just keeping it super simple today because the sauce packs so much flavor, and we're getting some flavor. We're going to get some flavor from the grill too. So a little bit of pepper, and then I'm going to flip it. I don't remember where. Well, let's see. Tongs aren't where I remembered them. We're going to use these. So tongs to flip. I'm just going to grab a little bit of oil from the paper, brush on that side. A little bit more salt and pepper. So if you wanted to marinate this, you could use the lemon, some extra lemon. You could use some dried oregano to add to the lemon juice, marinate it in your oil. Basically, you're looking for some kind of acid. So whether that's lemon or some kind of vinegar like apple cider vinegar, you could keep your marinade literally just your acid and the grapeseed oil, salt and pepper. But like I said, or don't. Let me see if I can find these tongs. Okay, here's a drawer. There we go. That's what I need. So I'm going to feel my pan here. It feels nice and hot. And then I'm just going to lay the chicken on there to grill and get rid of the paper and the trash. So avoid the temptation of touching it at all. You want to let it sit for at least 5-6 minutes to really get the grill marks and the flavor going. So while that works, I'm going to finish the sauce. So we've already added, so we've got the basil in the food processor. You could also do this in a blender if you have a high-powered blender. like a Vitamix or a Blendtec. We've got lemon. I'm going to get the juice from our lemon. This is a nice lemon juicer. It catches the seeds at the top. But you could also use a strainer. So we're looking for about 2 tablespoons of juice. And then we're going to also add a little bit of lemon zest. That's totally optional. But if you want to do the zest, a microplane is the best tool for that. So you just hold your whole lemon over the top, and it's very easily gets that zest off. That just adds a little extra lemon punch. But I've forgotten to do that before, and it still tastes amazing. So we're going to go with the 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Make sure you use fresh lemon juice, not the lemon in the store that you can buy that's like pre-squeezed. Usually that does not have the same lemon flavor. All right, and then a little bit of salt and oil.
If anyone is wondering, it already smells delicious.
Yeah, I'm smelling basil, lemon, that grill smell. Hopefully, well, our neighbors, we always do that, and our neighbors in the building think there's like a new restaurant that just opened. All right, here we go with the, let's see, where did I put the olive oil? Okay, olive oil is right here. All right, so I'm going to stream the olive oil in while it blends. This is going to be loud for a minute, so bear with me if it works. Let's see. Okay, that's it. It's a super nice green color. It's really bright. And like it has that amazing basil flavor. Does anyone have any questions about this sauce? Have any questions popped up? If you do, you can ask a question now. This is the basil sauce. I'm going to leave it right here while the chicken finishes cooking. I'm going to set this aside. So we're going to use it over there. Let me get us set up for the next recipe, so bear with me just for a second. Oh, I also want to mention, before I move on to the next recipe, let's say you're not a fan of chicken. It's totally fine. If you like fish, this is awesome. With any type of white fish, it will work for that, whether it's roasted in the oven or grilled. Also, as a salad dressing, you can see that this has the same consistency as a salad dressing. So this is very easy to just pour or drizzle on top of, it could be raw vegetables for dipping. It could be a salad. I've tried this combination of spinach or arugula with strawberries and goat cheese with the basil sauce on top is really nice. Any salad that has tomatoes, obviously, because tomatoes and basil go so well together. So if you made a tomato salad with mozzarella cheese, you could use this instead of using big pieces of basil. That's traditional in that kind of salad. You could use this basil sauce to kind of drizzle it over top. So lots of different ways you can use this if you're a fan of basil. Think of what you would normally use basil with, and then you can replace it with this really nice sauce. No nuts, no nuts. So this is, maybe I confused you because I said I mentioned pesto having nuts. Well, this is all the same ingredients as a pesto, except there are no nuts and no cheese. So you can see the ingredients listed there: basil, lemon, lemon zest, olive oil, and sea salt. And that's it. I'm going to check on our chicken here and see if it might be ready to flip. It is. There is no bitterness in this. If there is and you feel like the basil bitterness is too strong, you can either keep adding a little bit more olive oil, or you can adjust the salt or the lemon a little bit. Because I know what she's talking about. Like that basil is strong. Also, I should mention, that makes me think of something. There's different types of basil. And if you were to use like a Thai basil or that purple basil that you sometimes see, those have stronger, they're not as sweet as the sweet basil that you would find traditionally in the grocery store. So I would stick with the sweet basil for this recipe if at all possible. I think that Thai basil or some of the other varieties of basil are maybe a little bit too strong for this. Oh, okay. If you wanted to try adding nuts, sure. I could see like a toasted walnut or a toasted almond in this, but I would go really light on it and not use too much. Maybe like, let's see, for this recipe, maybe like a tablespoon, if that, and then you're just gonna grind it up in the sauce. Okay, so I'm gonna move this food processor out of the way. I'm gonna get set up for the next recipe. And then as soon as this chicken is done, I'll show you how to drizzle it over top. I can't let you try it, sorry. Okay. We should figure out a way to do like delivery samples, drive-by samples.
CSC Uber Eats.
Okay, so the next recipe is the mango salsa. So bear with me here as I move all this stuff over here towards the camera. Okay, what's that? I can't hear anything now. All right, guys, are you ready to start the mango salsa? Before I actually start making the salsa, I'm gonna do we're using it with salmon today. So we don't normally do fish or seafood in the class because I usually don't have enough money to buy it. So today I'm doing salmon because I only had to buy one piece. So you'll get to see best methods for cooking salmon. So this is 1 piece of salmon. I'm going to get a different pair of tongs. Let's see. Surely we have another pair of tongs that are not plastic. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with plastic. All right, so salmon onto a sheet pan. I'm gonna bake this in the oven. This is gonna be super simple again. I'm gonna let the sauce stand out and not necessarily do too much to the salmon. So I'm gonna drizzle it with a little olive oil so it doesn't dry out in the oven. Sprinkle it with salt and pepper. Same thing, basically the same thing as the chicken. And then the oven is, I would use like a 350 degree oven, preheated. And you're gonna bake it for about 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how thick the piece of salmon is. This one's pretty thick. I don't know, I think I'm gonna go in the middle and do like 11 minutes and check it. The key with seafood in the oven, when you're cooking, even if it's on the grill, you don't wanna overcook it because you'll lose all the moisture and it will be super dry. So that's the goal with salmon. It doesn't take very long to cook. It's just all about not letting it overcook. So that, I'm gonna put it in our oven and set the timer. Actually, I'll set the timer over here. 10 minutes. 11 minutes. All right, let me check our chicken. Okay, so the chicken is not, it's got the really nice grill marks on it over here. You can see that. But what I'm gonna do now, the nice thing about this grill pan, I've achieved the grill flavor, right? I'm gonna actually slide it into the oven, if I can find an oven mitt. Well, here, I'll just use. I'm gonna slide it in the oven to finish cooking. Because I feel like we've gotten enough flavor from the grill here. So the handle gets really hot, so just be careful here. And I'm just gonna slide it into the oven. And it's totally fine that it goes in there with the salmon. So I've just got the chicken on one rack and the salmon on the other rack. And that way it'll just finish cooking in there. Okay. Let's make the mango salsa. Mango. The mango that I found at the store was not ripe enough. So this looks like a really nice mango, but it's hard. So when you know that a mango is ripe when it's soft. And this one is hard, so it's not ready yet. But that's totally fine. There's ways, if you go to the store and you know you want to make the mango salsa that day or the next day, there's ways that you can kind of change based on what's at the store. So I'm gonna cut this open and see what it's like, but I'm also gonna supplement with some pineapple. So we're gonna try this mango. See, usually what happens is it's like so hard that it's not going to separate from the seed on the inside. I can already tell the inside would be a lot more yellow if it was nice, ripe, and soft. It would be almost an orange color. You can just tell that the juices, I don't know, that it's just not going to be that amazing. But so the way that I cut this is I took the top and the bottom off. Now I'm going to use my knife to go down and peel it. It might be all right. I bet the flavor will be okay. It'd be better if it was softer, but it's actually, now that I'm cutting into it, it's not too bad. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Check your bottle of avocado oil first to make sure it's okay for high heat. But avocado oil seems to be, most of them seem to be good for high heat. You just don't want the oil to smoke, and that's why you need an oil. Two big pieces, and then I'm just gonna cut those lengthwise and then into smaller chunks. And I think I am definitely going to supplement with some pineapple, because this is, even though it looks good, I think it just needed a few more days to ripen. It doesn't have that same like juice that it would normally have, but we will make it work. So we've got mango. I'm going to use half mango, so that's about a cup of mango, and then I'm going to use half of the pineapple. And of course, I went to buy the pineapple too, and I was going to buy a whole pineapple so that I could show you how to cut it. But of course, it was also not ready, or I knew it wouldn't be ripe enough before. Usually, like pineapple, you can buy it underripe and then let it sit on your countertop for a few days. It's rare that you'll find a pineapple that's like perfectly ripe the day that you buy it. So this was pre-cut pineapple in a container. Which usually the pre-cut pineapple is usually still pretty flavorful. Okay, that looks like enough. Now, I'm gonna add a little bit of red bell pepper. I'm not making a huge quantity here, so I'm just going to cut off one strip. I cut it into long slices and then smaller pieces. You're looking for everything to be sort of the same size. So the mango, the pineapple, the green onion, the red bell pepper are all kind of the same size in there. But the red bell pepper adds a really nice color. Then we're going to add a green onion, slice from that. And actually, to give us a little more color, I'll save this for something else. I'm going to use, since we're using such a small amount, I'm going to use most of the green just to give us some more color. And one thing you'll notice that is not in this recipe is jalapeno. I didn't add it because normally in these classes, people like things that are not so hot and spicy, but if you want to make this more of a spicy sauce, salsa, you can definitely add fresh jalapeno. This is cilantro that's already been washed, so I'm not going to take off the stem. You can just cut that. You don't have to take off the leaves from the stem. The stem is edible. So let's do like that much cilantro. And then we're going to add a little bit of lime juice. And I know your recipe doesn't say salt, but I like to add a little, just a small pinch of salt to this too. Okay, so we're looking for the lime. I'm going to use the same juicer I did earlier. It's totally fine that there's a little bit of lemon juice flavor probably still in this. It's not a big deal. The other thing about limes is they don't have seeds, so this juicer is actually not even really that necessary. Do both. Limes are really funny. When you buy these in the store, the limes, you want to make sure they're a little bit soft. If they're rock hard, that means they're old and you're not going to get much juice out of them. Okay, that looks like plenty. And then, like I said, a little pinch of salt. And then you just mix this all together. And it is ready to go. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Can you see that? It's got lots of good color. It just smells fresh. With the cilantro and onions in there, just is really good. But that addition of jalapeno is an easy way to add heat to it. So today I'm serving this over top of salmon, but you could also do this with like a black bean and rice dish. I think it would be really nice as a topping for that, or also to tacos. So whether that be a chicken taco, a fish taco, bean taco, this is just a really nice thing to add in as a filling for a tortilla or a taco. Okay, so any questions from this recipe? I'm going to check on the salmon in about 3 minutes. And our chicken is still in the oven too.
Yeah, did you add jalapenos?
Oh yes, add jalapenos. Yes, if you want heat, add jalapenos. If you want extra heat, add the seeds of the jalapenos. Those are where the seeds of the jalapenos are where all the heat lives, or most of it.
How about onion?
And yeah, so I did green onion today, and that gives you your onion flavor. I like the green onion because it's not too overpowering. Raw onion to me in this just is going to overtake the flavors of everything else. So green onion is subtle enough. You could also do chives if you have chives growing at your house. That's like an easy onion flavor that's not too overpowering. All right, I think I'll plate them all at the end. I'm going to move on now to our next recipe. Let's see how we're doing on time. Yeah, if you want to have that as like a main dish. So then it becomes a black bean mango salad. Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea, especially if you made it ahead of time and you let the flavors kind of sit a few hours or overnight, I think the flavors, the flavors would blend a little bit better and the beans would kind of soak up some of the juice. That's a great idea. Yeah, make it a bean side dish. All right, cool. So I'm going to think of more questions. I'm going to set up for the next recipe. My goal in this is to give you, the sauce idea and let you expand upon it and take it, however you like, whatever your flavor preferences are, and give you some more variety. Okay. Next, we are doing the hummus dressing. Oh, that timer is the salmon. Let me go check it. It smells good. Okay, the salmon is done. And the reason I know is because it's going from a dark pink color to a light pink. You can touch it and see that it's going to kind of flake a little bit. If you are worried at all about it and you're like, I don't know if it's done yet, you can open up the middle and just check and see if it still looks raw. You can let it go in for another minute. But this one looks just fine. So, like I said, let me plate them all together at the end. So I'm going to set this aside so I can get going on the next recipe. And I'm going to set a timer for, 5 minutes on the chicken. That was kind of a thick breast chicken. So we'll do 5 minutes and then I'll check the chicken. Okay. So the next recipe is the hummus dressing. And I'm going to use the grill pan again for this. So the hummus dressing is super simple. I was telling my husband what recipes I was doing today last night, and I told him I was doing the hummus dressing, and he was like, wouldn't you just use tahini for that? And I said, yeah, you could definitely use tahini. It's one of the ingredients in hummus, but what I found is that people do not have tahini at home and they don't want to buy it. So everyone, you can always get this is just plain hummus. There's many different brands. And this is something that people may already buy at home. And this dressing is just an easy way to use what you already have on hand and not have to buy something tahini that you use once or twice a year. So that's the idea behind this hummus. It has hummus. You could either make your own or buy it from the store. Garlic, dill, lemon juice. And then I'm going to serve it with we're going to use that grill pan again, and I'm going to serve it with grilled zucchini and squash. So I'll get started on the dressing, and then I'll do the veggies. Okay, so I need to grab a bowl here. Just 1 second. We're going to do, let me see if I have a smaller bowl. It's a little smaller. All right, so about 1/3 cup of hummus. So this container is 1 cup if you're trying to figure out how to do this without measuring. So you can kind of divide it into thirds, and you can just guess on this. This is original hummus, so there's no added extra garlic flavor or any special flavoring on it. That looks like plenty. We're gonna do garlic. Shoot, did I bring the garlic? If you have garlic for this, it's awesome. Your recipe says minced, but what you can do is grab that microplane and use the microplane. Pretend I'm putting garlic in right now, guys. This is what I have to do with my kids all the time. They're into this pretending. So pretend to do garlic on your microplane. Just 1 clove. And then we're going to use fresh dill, which is a really nice summertime herb. I bought it in a little plastic container from the store. And if it's got some really thick stems, you can just pinch the dill fronds away from the stem. Get rid of these. And then you can mince it up. Dried dill works for this. It doesn't have quite the freshness of flavor, but it's definitely a possibility if you don't have fresh dill. You just want to check the date on your spice bottle to make sure that it's not expired, because it will after dill is funny, like it's good for a short time. It just turns into no flavor at all. So I have about 2 teaspoons of dill in there, and then we're going to do a little bit more lemon. Let's see. Lemon again. If you want for lemons, you can buy a big bag of lemons from like Costco or just the grocery store, juice them all at once, and then pour the juice into a ice cube tray, and you can freeze, like I think it's the equivalent to 1 or 2 tablespoons each ice cube. So freeze it, and then you have a frozen cube of lemon that you can put into a freezer bag and just pop out, you know, like thaw it out. It doesn't take very long to thaw out. And then you don't have to worry about having fresh lemon on hand all the time. So I use lemon a lot in cooking, but I know a lot of people don't have fresh lemons around. So anyways, we're going to add so this is pretty thick right now. In order to get it, we're looking for a consistency that is pourable. So think of like a salad dressing from a jar. We need to add just a touch of water to get this to like be more of a pourable consistency. So I would say that was about a tablespoon. It doesn't mess up the flavor, but it just kind of thins it out a little bit so that you're not getting a glob of dressing. And so you can test it by doing this. It still seems a little thick, but it's totally up to you. You can keep it on the thick side like that if you want. Or you can thin it out with a little more lemon. You can taste it, see if you need to add a little more lemon or a little more water. So that's the dressing. You can put it in a fancy dressing container if you want. And we're going to use, like I said, we're going to grill these with a sweet onion in just a second. Let me check on the chicken because I need that pan to grill our veggies. It actually looks awesome. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, but at this point we would take the temperature at home, use a meat thermometer, take the temperature. You want it to be 165, at least 165. Try not to go too far over 165 on chicken breast because it will definitely get dry and tough. So I'm going to set this aside for plating, which I'll do at the very end. And I'm just going to move it over to grab a fork. Move it over here so that I can get this pan. Here, let me let you guys see this actually. So it shouldn't stick too much. Yeah, it's pretty good. That's the nice thing about this enameled cast iron. It only stuck like a tiny bit. But you can see those nice grill marks, which is where most of the flavor is. So I'm going to stick that there. Bear with me while I rinse this pan off real quick, and then we're going to do the veggies. Think of your questions while I'm gone. So Emily, is there a nutrition topic for September? Do you know what it is?
There is. For September 15th, we are going to have a nutrition seminar on the myths and facts in nutrition and cancer, like, is soy bad for you? Should you eat organic? Kristen is going to be covering those topics and giving you scientific answers. So if you'd like to participate in that, you can go on our website, cscatlanta.org, and register, and we would love to see you there.
Okay, cool. All right, so I just did a quick rinse on this. Very easy to clean when it's hot. This is like the breaking in of this pan. This has never been used before. And let me see, I'm gonna grab another towel because I wanna dry it underneath. Hold on one sec. Okay. Does anyone have a grill pan like this? Can they like raise their hand if they have a grill pan like this? I'm just curious. Okay. Well, don't feel like you have to buy it. I mean, but it's kind of a cool thing to have on hand for extra grilling flavor when it's 90 degrees outside. Okay, just get rid of that. Here we go. Okay, on to the vegetables. So grilling vegetables, I try to pick I just try to pick a combo of vegetables that were readily available right now. So zucchini, summer squash and zucchini, and a sweet onion. And the way that I am going to, so I'm going to turn on the heat here, even though the pan is hot from being in the oven. But just a medium heat here. I'm going to trim the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to cut these lengthwise into almost like a plank. And that way when we grill it, and the same would be true for grilling outside. You don't have to worry, you obviously don't have to worry about it falling through the slats here, but you would if you were using a traditional grill.
One participant said she has a panini for
I think this would work on, you can't get it blazing hot on that kind of machine, but you could definitely achieve, I think, some grill marks. Test it out. Has she ever done? I wonder if she's ever done. You can definitely do chicken if it's like a George Foreman grill type thing. You could definitely do some grill marks on that. Okay, I'm not going to cut up this whole thing because we don't have a big audience of people to taste it. But this is just a sweet onion. I'm going to cut it in half and just do some slices of this in with it. I'm just going to do it like this. And then what you can do after this is done grilling is slice this into more serving size appropriate pieces. So spread out your vegetables. You could do this on a sheet pan or on a cutting board. And then we are just going to brush them with a little bit of the grapeseed oil. And salt and pepper. Just a little drizzle. Pretend you're painting a picture. Brush the onions a little bit. And then I'm going to flip these over. Actually, let me season them first. Salt. And pepper. If you have, so when I think of hummus, think of Mediterranean flavors. So if you have like a za'atar, we've used za'atar seasoning in this class before. If you have a za'atar seasoning, that's really nice on these, sprinkled on the vegetables, or even like an oregano, dried oregano would be nice. So the original inspiration for this recipe came from one that I've done in these classes before, where we did roasted sweet potatoes, roasted broccoli, I think. And then we did the roasted chickpea recipe all in the oven, and then we drizzled it with this sauce. So for sure, roasted vegetables. My daughter wanted me to do roasted carrots today, but which you definitely could, but I didn't think roasted carrots would be summery enough. Anyways, here we go.
I'm not a big fan of the smell of roasted carrot.
Okay.
I appreciate you not doing that.
All right, so I'm just adding these to the pan. So the grill marks on this pan go vertically, at least the way that I have it oriented here on the burner. So you want to, don't go with the grill lines, go so that you get like nice even grill marks. So I'm just adding 2 of those, and then I'm just going to kind of scatter these onions around. On the sides. So you see this pan is not very big, so it's perfect if you're cooking for 1 or 2, but if you're cooking for more than that, it's a little, you have to go in batches. So it's a little tricky to get a large serving on here. But yes, you could slice these up, do it in the oven, then you could get a large batch if you're doing it for more people. All right. So I'm going to start plating, while that cooks, I'm going to start plating these other recipes. All right, move these things aside. So we have our 3 sauces. We have our hummus dressing, the mango salsa, and the basil sauce. And I'm glad you guys can't see over here because that's my mess. Okay. Then I'm going to grab some plates. One, two, three. All right, so we'll go with chicken, and then we have the salmon. I'm going to switch these up. Look how the salmon gets lost on the red plate. I'm going to switch them up so that we have better color. Then just do a really good drizzle of the basil sauce. I'm trying to think. So I'm thinking of other things that you could serve with this. I'm thinking, so usually when I build a plate, I have protein, some kind of starch, whether it's potatoes or rice or some kind of grain. So think some kind of starch, and then some kind of vegetable. So on this, we already have our protein, obviously. For a starch, I mean, you could do roasted potatoes with this. You could do rice. You could do some kind of grain, whether it be couscous. Put that on the bottom and then put your chicken on top. And then you can have either like a roasted vegetable on the side or a raw. We've been doing a lot of raw vegetables at home just because it's so hot out. You could even serve this with a salad. So those are some ideas for that. That's kind of where my mind goes when I'm thinking about how to. Another starch idea would be pasta for this. So you could do like fettuccine noodles or spaghetti noodles underneath. Have this be, you could even use more of this basil sauce. You could do fresh tomatoes in that pasta. Yeah, my mind could go in like a million different ways with that one. Next, we have the salmon. So the salmon, I usually, you're just going to kind of let it, some of it sit on top and then some of it like cascade off so that you can have a little bit bites of and you're going to have some of the lime juice too in the bottom of this. So you can grab some of that and sprinkle it, drizzle it over top. So that's the salmon. With this, I like rice. I don't know why. unlike salmon and rice, and maybe some like roasted broccoli. You could put some, maybe some Southwestern flavors in your rice. Here, let me grab this. It's time to flip our zucchini. Oh, good, I found another pair of tongs. So we're getting some good grill marks here. It should flip pretty easily. If it's not ready, if it's kind of sticking a little bit, then give it a little bit more time on the grill. And then it should flip pretty easily. For the onions, I just kind of move them around a little bit. And this is not going to take long at all, like maybe another minute. But like I said, the Southwestern flavors in rice. So you could add, like when you're cooking the rice, you could add some cumin to it to kind of bring out some of the like Southwestern flavors in the salsa. Some broccoli would be nice, or maybe some, I'm trying to think Southwestern, I don't know, some like avocado, some smashed avocado or something like that, sliced avocado. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move these over so you can get an idea on these vegetables. Now, like I said, you can cut these depending upon, so you could slice them into more serving sizes, or you could leave them like this. If you're having a party and you're like serving a bunch of people, you could let them cut it depending upon. And then your hummus drizzle. I also like grilled eggplant for this too. It's kind of, think Mediterranean on this one. So maybe have some falafel or some chicken shawarma or some kind of Mediterranean flavored protein with rice again, probably, or something of that nature. You could even do roasted potatoes. All right, guys, any questions? Hopefully you can see these. Any comments?
Looks great.
Ashley,
Yeah.
your comment is it looks really good.
Okay.
And the dish that you were talking about earlier with the broccoli and the za'atar seasoning and I can't remember what else it has in it right now.
Okay, the hummus dressing.
Yes, we love that. So we make that awesome. And last night we were channeling you also because along with salmon and some other stuff, we had your farro and heirloom tomato
Nice.
salad. Do you remember that one?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we're using what you put out there.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. Now you'll have another idea for the hummus dressing.
Absolutely. It looks really good.
Cool.
We were just sitting here and thinking we've got some eggplant that's growing and we're gonna do it with the eggplant probably
Awesome.
Tonight or tomorrow.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Anyone else?
No, looks great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Looks delicious. Mouth is watering. Thank you, Ashley. A lot of comments in the chat just thanking you and saying everything looks delicious.
Awesome. I know. I wish you guys were here to taste it with me. Hopefully soon.
Is anyone going to try these sauces at home?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
The mango salsa, my absolute favorite. Love, love, love.
All three of
Awesome.
them.
Sia, what do you do if you use tahini?
Oh yeah. Okay. Good question. If you have some tahini on hand, let me look at the recipe real quick so I can tell you exactly. So instead of using 1/3 a cup of hummus, you're going to use tahini. I would say maybe 2 tablespoons. Start with 2 tablespoons at least. And then you can keep everything else the same, actually. and just taste as you go. Make sure you add salt though, because the hummus already has salt blended in, but not the tahini. So definitely add salt, and then start with 2 tablespoons of tahini. And you're going to use probably a little bit more water or lemon to thin it to get it pourable because it's pretty thick. But other than that, it's basically the same. Just taste it as you go if you need to adjust it slightly.
All right. Any other comments before we go? All right, everyone. Well, Ashley, thank you so much. That was wonderful and smells amazing. And we look forward to seeing another presentation from you again.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. If you're interested in other live or recorded programs, please visit the online program tab of our website, cscatlanta.org. Or follow us on Facebook. We'll be sharing additional information on upcoming programs.